Hello and welcome to another episode of the Don't Sleep Game On podcast. This is our very first episode. This is super exciting, and I'm very happy that you guys joined in. To all of you out there in YouTube watching the video, and all of you listening on your favorite podcast player, welcome to the show. On this show, we're going to talk to creators and streamers and gamers and people who are in any way involved in the online streaming world. I'm hoping that we'll get some secrets from the famous content creators, and also hope to expose some people that maybe aren't so famous yet, but they'll be famous because of our show. So we have a very special guest tonight. This is my very good friend Cher. We go way back. We go way back, and I'm not going to out either one of us by telling you how long back we go. Um, so my friend Cher, she was originally born and raised in the Bronx, just like me, actually. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. Born and raised in the Bronx, New York, Cher is a professional stage, screen, and voiceover actor. Ooh, how fancy. Uh, a tabletop RPG and digital gamer who is a full time variety streamer on Twitch. She's a panelist for various podcasts as well. So she might actually have more experience at this than we do. No matter what she's doing at the moment, Cher is happiest when she's having fun with friends, participating in impactful conversations, speaking in fun voices, and telling engaging, relatable stories. Everyone, please put your hands together, which I can't hear, for my friend Cher.
Hi. Hey.
Welcome, Cher. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for that lovely introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope I did. I hope I'm doing you justice, because everything I just said is very true. You are a very fun person, and we do have engaging conversations. And I feel jealous for everybody. Well, everybody should feel jealous that they could not participate in all of our other conversations that we haven't recorded.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, uh,
Oh, we do go way back. You
we
were
do.
right about that.
We do go way back,
Absolutely.
and
Yes,
it's
indeed.
been great, and it's actually amazing that we both ended up doing something kind of related to this whole streaming online media world, which has taken the world by storm. And that's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about how you got to the point where you are, how I got to the point where I am, if anybody cares. I mean, my story is short and simple. I'm a failure. I am a I'm a content
No.
creative failure. No, let's just be honest. I tried. I gave it a good college try. And you know, I understand this is a very popular medium right now, and I drew inspiration from other streamers, other people posting their gameplay videos, and I thought, well, I like to play games. I know my way around the record button, so maybe I should do something. And I tried, but I just don't think I'm an interesting person in that way. For me, it was always more of a technical thing. But what inspired you, Cher? How did you get into this whole thing?
Well, first of all, my friend, you know what they say. Don't be afraid to fail. Just fail better.
Well, that,
That's all. You know how it goes. That according to your introduction there, creator, streamer, gamer. I am guilty of all three. I I I I come from an acting background, and I've been an actress for stage and screen and voiceover for about the past 10 years. And it's funny because coming into acting was a total mistake. You want to talk about what was a fail or what didn't seem to be meant to happen? Yeah, becoming an actor was not something that I grew up aspiring to, because I, like many other folks who still are under the false impression of acting, is that you have to be legacy within a family of
mm,
actors, or you have to, already be like born into,
yeah,
you
certainly
know,
certainly doesn't hurt when your
the
last name is
industry.
Hanks.
Sure, or similar, right?
So,
I
yeah.
mean, it doesn't hurt at all to be born legacy into the industry, but especially now more than ever, it occurred to me that maybe I should give it a try. And you want to talk about how about failed attempt at staying employed in the corporate world? I had been an IT specialist for about 15 years, moved on to graphic and web design later on. I didn't feel as creative anymore within the IT space. And that's because when I was younger, when I was a young girl, I had always been more of an artist. I drew, I painted, I did calligraphy. I
Yes,
did all of these
I remember.
things that were so, just creative
Great.
in that sense that I felt like, okay, I made a decision. Either continue making what I make as an IT specialist, but lose a little bit of my soul every day, or try to strive for something else lucrative, but also fulfilling. So years later, fast forward, got my graphic and web design degree. Um, and then what ended up happening is I went into corporate design for a while, wasn't happy with that, gracefully exited into becoming, having a private consultancy. And then COVID happened. So the first thing that happens every time businesses are affected financially, everybody decides to forget about their marketing budget. That was just nope. So clients dried up. And I said, well, let's
Let's
and,
rethink
and
this.
let's rethink this, shall we? I mean, and my acting beginnings were meager beginnings. I mean, to the point where I passed by a kiosk in the mall one day that happened to have, an all call out for, a casting call for people of all ages, all sizes to come on out and either do a monologue or walk a catwalk for modeling.
Okay.
And I filled in my information totally on a lark. It was me and a couple girlfriends at the mall. I was like, wait till they see my measurements. Forget it. And then I'll never forget, it was a Thursday night around dinner time. I get a call. Oh, hey, Cher, would you like to come in and go ahead and do a bit of a catwalk and then go ahead and do a monologue for us? And I was like,
Say what? You got the right
um,
number?
right, like I don't think y'all read that card like closely. I'm not a size 0, or I don't have any experience. They were like, no,
Oh no.
come on in.
We want
So
you.
I ended up doing a little bit of a catwalk, that was fun, but nerve wracking as all get.
I bet.
But then I did a monologue in the middle of the mall main promenade, and this is a big mall. So when I tell you there was like a lot of people in that main hall, and I thought I was going to be more terrified than I was, but I ended up getting through it. My
Nice.
girls came out to it's good when you have a squad, put it that
Oh
way.
yeah.
So my girls came out to cheer me on, went through it, and I was like, hey now, we could try to do this.
Yeah, this is
So
something we can do.
yeah, so fast forward many more years later, I've got not one but two acting coaches. I have auditioned and booked commercial work, independent films, and voiceover work as well. And so things just keep rising from here. And I work hard every day to get exposure out there and to keep my skills up. And nowadays, they tell actors all the time, do your best to keep your social media platforms active.
Hmm.
Post content almost every day if you can. And so that is where I have arrived into streaming, where I now have a bit of a schedule of streams that I participate in, and that on other channels, and my own Twitch channel as well.
Well, it makes total sense to me now. That does kind of follow. You do want that exposure, and you do want to be seen and catch people's attention. So I get it. I get it.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't boast, thousands of followers yet, but knock on wood, what I would rather do is cultivate a community rather than just have blind, follows,
Yeah.
totaling in the thousands. I mean, I'd really rather have a community that wants to, come along with me on my journey, and I really appreciate every single person that does, because that's really where it's at. I feel like.
Well, this is where I think you and I differ, because I would probably pay with probably half a leg and an arm to have thousands of followers, and I think there's a point at which I wouldn't
Oh
necessarily care
no.
wouldn't necessarily care how much of a community they are. Just seeing those numbers go up would make my day. But in the long run, you are absolutely correct. You do want to foster a sense of community with people. You want them talking with each other, not just at you. They're not like your disciples just listening to a sermon, but people who find what you're talking about interesting and meaningful, and then they can actually have conversations, because all of a sudden people with similar interests are finding each other, right? You're bringing them together. You're like the happy hour at the local college bar, bringing people in and hopefully letting them find something interesting.
Well, listen, if I'm
Mm.
half as fun as a happy hour at a college campus bar, yeah, yes, please. Okay,
I'll,
I'll take that. I'll
uh,
claim that. Sure.
all right, you can
But
have it. I have a story
you
about that. Maybe
know,
we'll get to it someday.
okay.
Um,
But I mean, it just because when you become a bit of a facilitator,
mm, yep.
when you are a focus of a channel or a show, or any of the content that you put on, you want to be able to bring together the right people. You want to be able to create a space where people feel safe and they feel like they're definitely going to have fun here. And because I don't got time for anything negative.
Mm,
Ain't nobody got time for
ain't
that,
nobody
as
got
they
time for
say.
that.
Correct. So, but yeah, so that's how I came into streaming over time.
Well, that totally makes sense. You hear streamers out there. You hope you're taking notes. You should be an aspiring actor, and that may help your streaming career. I don't know if it'll help vice versa. We'll find out.
Well, I'll tell you what, taking improv classes does help. That
Hmm.
definitely helps,
Yes.
because
Hmm.
that way you're able to think on your feet, especially when you're in a conversation like this, like we're having now. I mean, it's very helpful because sometimes you can catch something that the other person is saying and be like, wait a minute, oh, I didn't know that about you. So talk more about this. It just basically gets you comfortable, being able to think quickly on your feet when you're in conversation. And all it really is a conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love being able to collaborate and have conversations with other positive minded people. So
Well.
that's the best thing you can have as a creator ever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yes. And going back to something you said before, not knowing something about you. So it's kind of funny you mentioned about being in the IT world. I'm going to sidetrack us just completely for a minute, because it's kind of a big deal to me. I'm in the IT world. That is my career. That is what I do. I've been doing this for 20 something years. Uh-oh, my age is showing. Yeah, right out of college. That's the world I entered, and that's the world I'm still in. So for me, uh, lucky enough to have survived COVID and still be employed and keep working in that
Yes.
career. But I needed a creative outlet. I needed something, and that's kind of how I arrived here. It's I have all this technical knowledge. I I tend to pick up skills quickly when it comes to, you know, working with video and audio and streaming and all these different pieces of software. And this sounds like a job interview all of a sudden. Um, as a-
Listen, man, if you need anybody within the sound of my voice, if y'all have any doubt about your system setup, the way that you can improve your setup, starting a setup at all, I mean, this is why Flatline BB is my guru, because like all of that knowledge left my mind years ago. Put it that way.
yeah,
It was like, okay, I got up to at least learning stuff up to Windows 7
okay,
when it comes to like the hardcore like IT like help desk
yeah.
type stuff, right? And then after Windows 7 it was like,
Mm-mm,
okay,
mm-mm, mm-mm.
I
You,
can't, my brain just can't fit anymore.
you're behind, girl. You're behind. We're
now now I've
we on
got
Windows
now,
11 now. So
that's it, I'm like, now I've got like scripts running through my brain, and my co-processor is working on like no less than 10 scripts behind my eyeballs right now. You know what I mean? It's like
I know.
there's so many things going on there.
I hear you.
So
So I mean, what am I trying to say? Ooh. So this is actually pretty awesome because it does help us, you and I at least, communicate better. Having some of that technical background, of course. At this point, I am allowed to say I've forgotten more than what I know about IT, but I never stop learning. But it's also fun for me. This is really fun. It's very satisfying when I gate crashed on Cher's Twitch stream and told her, girl, we have got to work on your audio because I've only been here for 5 minutes and I can't stand it. We need to tweak your
oh, that
noise.
was the truth.
We have got to get you some gain. We have got to get you some noise reduction. We have got to put a limiter in there. We all the fancy things, and
Yeah.
and we did, and that's kind of how we started collaborating again. So it was kind of mutual for both of us because I reconnected with a friend and she's been using me ever since. So it works perfectly.
Oh my goodness. See, you're trying to get me in trouble.
Well, I just speak the
No, but
truth. That's all I do. I
sure
speak the
I
truth.
sure swear by, making sure that as I go forward in my career that I have the right people around me.
I think that's the trick.
And
I think that's the trick.
and the thing that he's too humble to admit, folks, is that yes, he reached out because he was like, "Oh girl." Like, oh.
Mm.
But he had he was the gentleman and the scholar that I've always known him to be. He basically, reached out and said, "Hey friend, let's keep you on the successful track of things." And that meant a lot to me, and it continues to mean a lot to me. And so, listen, like I said, use me back. I'll be your poster child.
Oh, what a lovely
We
poster
good.
that will be.
This is how people help elevate each other.
That's true.
This is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we're supposed to bring each other up, not down.
That's it.
Yeah, just a short story from our past as we've known each other for a very long time. I imagine one of the things that when you mentioned taking improv classes, sitting at the lunch table with our group of friends, that had
in high school.
high school, that had to get you prepared to throw snaps back and forth and
Oh wow.
and hurl insults at people and defend yourself and come up with funny stories and you
We sure did let each other have it, didn't we? I mean,
we did we did
we
it's
we were all neighborhood kids growing up in the Bronx. And some from outer portions just outside the
yep
Bronx, further upstate and downstate. And when you grow up a New Yorker, man, there's just a certain tough skin
it
that
is
we're known worldwide for.
exactly
There's a reason,
and
that people know us for that worldwide. And that this was no different in high school. Just throwing conversation around the table in the mornings before our classes started.
oh
Heck
my
yeah, I
goodness
should have remembered that. Maybe it would have made me less nervous going into acting in the first place.
yes yeah
But
yeah when you have to keep pretending that those conversations and those snaps don't bother you because you're with your friends
mhm.
you do grow some tough skin and let me apologize also for anything mean that I've said back then. I was just a stupid kid, so but here's my mea culpa to you all these
Please,
years later.
not even. I'll apologize as well, but I tell you what, I feel like when it comes to, at least in the way that it relates to acting, acting is the same way.
Hmm.
It's not always, rainbows and ponies in every scene that you're doing when you're acting. There are certain scenes when you are working together with a coworker who may be about to throw insults in your face, up close and personal,
Hmm.
just because it's in a script, right? And you have to, when you're acting, you're actually bringing yourself out of your body. You are pouring in a character that has been given to you, okay?
Hmm.
And your character is talking to that other person's character. In order to really know what an actor goes through, the thing I hate is the word acting, because a lot of times when you say the word acting, people hear play acting,
Yeah, or fake or pretending.
and then they'll say, "Oh, well, I could be just about anything, or I could sell ice to an Eskimo, and I could do this." But what formal training
Hmm.
teaches you is that, and I'm not talking about just acting school. I'm talking about if you take workshops online, if you um, go to any number of YouTube channels that help actors out, if you happen to, get an acting coach to work with you, there are other ways to get into acting, not just acting school, mind you.
Hmm.
But formal um, what formal coaching and teaching will tell you is that there is a method to be able to, and there's a few methods actually, to be able to separate yourself from your ego. Your ego is at the door, friend,
Yes,
every time.
leave
And
it
you
at the
are
door.
taking, yes, and you are taking on the characteristics and the life. You're breathing life into a character that is using your vessel for the moment. And so there's a lot that goes into that. There are emotions as an actor that you tap into, that, yes, you're creating this life behind your eyes, basically, but you draw upon the actual experiences of this vessel. That's why when you have, you're a good actor when you can stop trying to take on every role that's thrown at you,
Hmm.
and you gravitate more towards the roles that resonate with you
Yeah,
as a
that you can
person.
already tap into something that's in you. You don't have to
Correct.
reach for something that you don't know, and that's why you can bring it out better because you already been there. You're like Delta. You already flew up in there and already
That's it.
experienced that, and you already got those emotions. So that's that's great advice, and it does actually change my view of acting because I'm like everybody else. I have thoughts. When I see people do stuff, I'm like, well, that's not hard. You just pretend to be this person, but you're not pretending. You're becoming.
Thank you.
That is you.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Next thing we got to do is get you sound effects because that deserved an applause
An
sound effect
applause.
right
Well,
there.
we'll have to add. Yes, we'll have to add the applause effect. Believe me, this setup will get upgraded over time, and any and all feedback's welcome. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. And what I'm trying to really say is that's pretty amazing. And I am very happy to know that all of that was hiding inside you this whole time, and now you're able to bring it out. I'm very proud of you as my friend, as somebody who's known you for a while. I am very proud to know you in that sense of the things that you've accomplished and how hard you've worked to get there. And
Same, my friend. Listen, it is no small feat that you are gainfully employed in the middle of the pandemic,
yes,
okay?
that's
With the skills that you have,
mm,
you've always been the fastest learner I know when it comes to picking up information and running with it. I try to be that same type of person. I'm trying to get on your level because I'm a
girl.
lifelong learner too. Like I give myself homework all the time. You know what I mean? I start for when you're getting ready to dive into a character, even just for an audition. Sometimes something in the dialogue will give you a clue that, oh, okay, this person is able to do this profession, or it either comes from this profession or does this skill, or okay, maybe I should research that. And I'll hit Google like right away. You know what I mean? But when it comes to technology, like something that was just minted yesterday in tech, that's like
Oh,
5 years in
yeah,
technology years. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's
Like that,
old news.
keeping up with that industry and being able to still stay gainfully employed, good on you, man. Because that's
Well,
just it's the employment situation is rough out here. I don't care what statistics say that unemployment is on the decrease. Yeah, no.
yeah.
No, I don't believe one word of it.
Well, I mean, I believe it as far as that's good news, and and if they were telling us bad news, that means that things are probably much worse than they're telling us. So, hearing good news is not bad, but yes, it is a trick to staying employed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not easy out there for people. The pandemic didn't help, the recession didn't help. There were a lot of things that aren't helping people.
The thing that I believe that most of those statistics pertain to anyway are usually going to be customer facing positions, lower paid positions for lower wages. And of course, people are eager for those positions to be filled back in because they don't want to have to wait in line so long to, get food from their favorite restaurant
That's true.
anymore, or they don't want to, you know what I mean? Like slowly but surely, even here in Florida where I live, um, certain eateries have opened up, but not with their full floor open for seating. Just like maybe half capacity or something to accommodate for continued social distancing,
That's
for
right. Yeah, the
example.
extra space.
And I mean, for example, like in Starbucks, there are Starbuckses that are like partial storefronts. They're not even like a full floor of seating. So
Mm,
I can't even imagine those. I mean, those probably have either been shut down for a while or just order only and you come and pick it up. You know what I mean? Like there's no there's no more that usual sense of atmosphere.
Hmm.
That's the enticement to
Yeah.
come out to a venue in the first place.
Yeah. Bring
That
your laptop.
social aspect.
Yeah. Bring your laptop. Sit at a local Starbucks. Bang out your next screenplay. Right. Exactly.
Exactly. I've done that. Yes, because it's just sometimes you've got an energy at a different energy working from home than working among the energy of other patrons at a restaurant or a eatery or a venue. I believe in energy a lot spiritually, and just even from a scientific fact, energy happens around us and affects us, our bodies and our minds all the time. And people, are craving that again.
Yeah.
And I get that. I would love to go back to the movie theaters again. However, like they're trying to, entice us with some good films coming out and whatnot. But am I necessarily prepared or feel comfortable to go into that situation again? Maybe not.
And
Maybe not just
I'm
yet.
sure you're not the only person. And, having that feeling that you're not quite sure if it's safe to go outside. It reminds me of my cat. When they want to go outside, they're hanging out by the door. They'll put their nose out, but they'll look at you. Is it okay? Is it okay? Can I go out there? It's this whole process. And by the time they make up their mind, you're like, okay, you know what? Never mind. We're closing the door. Mosquitoes are coming in. Let's just be done with this. Maybe we'll try again tomorrow.
Oh, but how are the kitties? Are your kitties okay?
The kitties are great.
Yeah, my birdies, my feather babies, Romeo and Juliet, are still doing good. Yeah, they're feisty as always.
Your video.
They have.
Hold on, Cher. Your video.
Oh, sure.
Froze.
I'm gonna. Okay.
All right. So yes, the kitties are doing great, and you were talking about your birds.
Yeah.
Your Romeo and Juliet, right? Your birdies.
Yeah, they're doing.
See, at least we have that companionship in our life. I mean, I am married, so I do have a wife in my life. She's somewhere. But so there's days when I feel closer to the cats because I work from home, so I'm home all day, and they pretty much keep me company all day. And I do feel a little bit different about this idea of kind of missing people and all that stuff. But I'm not trying to undermine, what you said about kind of energy and just need for socialization. One thing I will definitely tell you, I absolutely appreciate all of those people that worked in the customer facing roles. Teachers especially. It seemed like for a while in the beginning of the pandemic, teachers were getting a little bit extra recognition from people. I think my personal theory is people were finally stuck with their own kids home all day, and all of a sudden they realized, you know what? Mrs. Johnson from the middle school, yeah, she puts up with my little brat all day, and now I have to. That woman is a saint.
Correct.
That woman is a saint. I don't know how she does it because I am here with my twins and I am ready to tear my hair out. So I think that's what was happening. People were just realizing what a handful their kids are. But it's the same thing with the baristas serving us coffee, the people selling us snacks at the movie theaters. I think we miss all those people now, and hopefully we'll have a better appreciation for them when we do get to go back.
I'll tell you, during the pandemic, one of the things that I am absolutely grateful for is the fact that I have found long distance friends through some of these social media platforms.
You're frozen again. Damn it.
Uh-oh. Dang it. Are you kidding? Oh, man.
Again? No. All right.
Yep. So, and let me just say, during the pandemic, one of the best things that came out of it for me is the relationships that I've been able to develop with people long distance.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking, all of the folks that I've met on Discord and through streaming, through Twitch, you know, even folks that are in chat with me while I'm watching some of my favorite Twitch streams, you know, now their name has come up time and again, so that now we've actually been corresponding with each other and, you know, participating in projects together. And it's been phenomenal. The outpouring of people who want to reach out to each other, you know, and keep those connections together has been really great. It's been wonderful.
And I think this is also why, I mean, this is the age of the geek, first of all, and it has been for the last at least a decade, if not more. But yes, things you mentioned like Discord and Twitch chat and everything else, it is a way that we have been making connections with each other. And, you know, it also helped us reconnect, and that's how we communicate because we clear across the country. You're in Florida, I'm in California, and so we can't just meet at a local Starbucks. That would be very, very expensive cup of coffee.
Correct.
but you know, that's the wonderful thing about technology is that it can bring us back together, and I think that has actually been playing a real important role in your life, right? I mean, not just the streaming, but some of the other projects that you've been working or involved
Oh,
in.
absolutely. Absolutely. For instance, I, for whatever reason, I was called upon. I was asked to join a live D&D stream, and it was for a charity stream. And this was almost a year and a half ago. Ooh, yeah.
Wow,
That's
time flies.
unbelievable. Yeah, you know. And so came onto the stream, and I was a one party member of a party of adventurers and it was for a one shot, just a one shot, one night. And after that one shot, all of us were so happy that we found each other. And it was a group of us ladies that got together for a
Ladies.
ladies' charity event. Fast forward to sometime later, we ended up forming Ladies of D&D.
Nice.
And I will take the opportunity for a shameless plug. Folks, check out ladiesofdnd.com. And we are an organization. We're now a fully fledged nonprofit organization. We run games together. We run games specifically for charities as well. And we have created this community of female identifying players, trans and bi, even non-binary players who have come up time and again against the gatekeeping that traditionally has kind of plagued the industry. But now we're seeing not only more women highlighted in gaming, but also more people of color in gaming as well, who have always been there, let's be honest. But now there is that highlight and the growing awareness. And this is a really great time that we're in right now to be in gaming because of that heightened awareness.
Yep.
So that's what we do as a group. And I would never have met these ladies who have now become my friends, over time. And that's all due to the technology. We were able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned. So number one, we'll have links to Ladies of D&D in the show notes. So look for those there, and also just if you just really quickly want to explain what a one shot is, so I don't have to Google it.
Sure. Yes. Yeah, one shot is really easy. It's a one-time adventure.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to describe it, as opposed to an ongoing D&D campaign where you meet up every week, you have an ongoing story that stretches out over weeks, months, years. This is a one shot, one night only that gets wrapped up by the end of it, by the end of that 2.5 hour or 4 hour period, however long you want the game to run.
Okay, that
So,
makes sense. I think I had one of those in high school. Um, that's a story for a whole different day. But I
yeah,
want to.
I remember I tell people all the time about how that's when I started playing D&D, is
Yeah,
when we were in high school. I remember one of our teachers
yeah.
actually ran
I
games.
believe it was
And
Mr.
so,
Johnson, and he was our English
yeah.
teacher.
Yeah, so it was really nice to, be able to go back into D&D. Adult life gets in the way.
It does.
You get too busy working to be able to coordinate schedules between people. But I got back into D&D years later by just doing a search online for local groups
Hmm.
that actually run D&D games. And when I moved here to Florida, I was able to do that, found folks, a very healthy D&D community here. And so ever since I've been immersed in it, and now I've graduated to streaming with it too. So
Awesome. And you've also been a dungeon master or DM in some of the games you've mentioned.
yes, okay. My proud shining moment, and I have promised myself to write complete writing a campaign of my own, a homebrew campaign, and homebrew being one that has a setting all your own that you come up with, as opposed to maybe taking adventures directly from some of the Dungeons and Dragons published content and
Hmm.
published books that are out there. You can use all of the underlying rules, game rules, and principles. Maybe some of the well-known pantheons of gods or well-known NPCs or non-player characters from that universe, but the setting is all my own. And I came up with a homebrew one shot for a charity event. I DM'd a one shot for Black Girls Code some months back, and that was like such a wonderful experience for me. I really want to expand upon that world that I came up with just for that one shot. And I've gotten some feedback, positive feedback so far. So I definitely am going ahead, forging ahead with it. And I hope to have that done by the end of the year.
That's
So I'm
that's
saying it on camera so that I can
like
give myself a definitive deadline.
deadline. You heard it here, folks. We'll have to keep Cher honest. Make sure you send messages to her on Twitter to keep her motivated to finish. So. I was going to say that sounds like a pretty tall order to write your own campaign. I mean, you've got to come up with all the monsters and situations and build a dungeon and kind of figure out what happens, right? If you step here, you get a dart in your neck. If you step over there, you singe your hair. Like that's always seemed very complicated to me. I mean, here's the thing. For me, exposure D&D started all those years ago in high school as well, but I just never used your clever idea of using Google to find a local group. So I've been mostly playing video games that were built on the D&D worlds or rules. So, I've played Neverwinter Nights. I've played, all Shadow of Mordor, and I've played the Assassin's Creed games, and yeah, I mean D&D kind of touches, I think, almost all RPG games. The whole role-playing game genre
Oh yeah.
is pretty much built out of D&D, and then it just kind of takes a tangent into some specific world like Assassin's Creed, but the ideas are still the same. There's like statistics behind what you're doing, what your enemies are doing, and that's probably the main idea, right? I mean, other than getting together with people, coming up with your characters and backstories. There's a little bit of math involved, right? There's the dice
Oh yes.
rolling
Oh.
and stuff like
Oh,
that.
let
And
me. Oh, you said the magic
I
word,
said the
friend.
magic word. I was
You
just
sure did. Yes.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Yes, my
That
precious.
is a dice collection to
Oh,
be
this
jealous
this
of.
is just a tiny, tiny offering.
Yes, this is
Tiny sample of all of the dice I now own. This is why I have a stream now that I do called Dice Goblins,
okay.
because it became apparent to me, when people are called a dice goblin, that means you hoard a lot of dice.
Yeah, I
Like, it's a problem.
it's
It's
a problem. That's right. It is. Hopefully, there's a community out there you can reach out for help. People that can assist you maybe in organizing your dice and preventing you from buying more dice.
Oh,
You know
never that.
that.
It's more like, it's the see, the purpose of a normal support group is to help you not do the bad stuff anymore. But the
Generally,
purpose of
the
a
idea.
dice goblin support group, oh, we enable the heck out of each other.
Yes,
I'm sorry to tell you.
where to find more stashes of dice.
Yes.
It's it,
So
you're combining geocaching with dice hoarding. That's a bad thing. So so with all that dice, where do you keep your dice? Does that require some special containment? Do they have to be stored in carbonite? Do they come alive at night and kind of play their own little games?
oh gosh,
What's
I
a
mean,
what's a good place to keep your dice?
you just gave me a great idea. I'm like, somebody, anybody, come up with a set of dice that's made of carbonite.
Maybe featuring
Maybe it may already be out there, and I just don't know
maybe.
yet.
But here, wait. Let's expand on that idea. Each
Okay.
die, right? That's a singular.
Yes,
Has one of the body parts of Han Solo, so you can put them together into a Han Solo figure. So, like
oh my,
one will have a hand, one will have a leg, one will have just a shoulder. There'll be a die with just the ear, and then if you put them in the right order, you'll have a little Han Solo. And maybe the box they come in, you can actually put them there, and it looks like Han Solo frozen in carbonite.
oh my gosh! Wow! I mean, you took it there, friend. Wait till I get. Listen, don't even start me. I know people that actually they are fellow creators, and they happen to make, you know, dice themselves, and I'm like, oh gosh, now what kind of new hellation am I putting myself through
Yeah.
now?
Also known as drug dealers in your community,
Oh my
people
god,
who make
yes,
dice.
the
Uh,
enablers,
the
let me
enablers,
tell you.
exactly.
But well, to answer your question, I have dice vaults. And what I've noticed about many dice vaults. Hold on.
Dice
I'm
vault
gonna my
sounds
eye
serious.
is my eye is bothering me. Apologies.
Okay, eye break.
You can definitely cut that in post. Here we go. So, um what I've noticed a lot in a lot of the dice vaults or dice boxes that I've seen, there are certain themes, that are used time and again. And there's beautiful designs out there. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
However, geez, my eye is still bothering me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's allergies, man. Ooh,
Do you need some eye drops or
allergies are
something?
killing me. I don't have any on hand right now, but we're going to power through this, because what I don't want to do is lose momentum now. Oh my goodness. Choked me up from laughing so hard. Oh
Sorry.
my goodness. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Okay. So when it comes to dice vaults or dice boxes,
I've always
right?
imagined them little like velvet uh, sacks, little purses.
Yeah, I mean, you can
That's
have.
kind of what I've always imagined.
I mean, you can have them in, like nice.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
nice velvety bags and stuff. And
Attached to your belt, going through a local mall. With your dice just jingling along.
oh, you have no idea. Like some of
Clearly,
the
I do not.
some of the groups. No, you're kind of right about that. Some of the groups that I've met in person right, and had actual tabletop games with in person, yeah, that's basically you can tell who are coming together for games because they'll have either they'll be the DM or dungeon master that has like a whole big backpack and like maps sticking out of it, or they'll be the player that's got so many dice with them that they're jingling around. And it's like, why does that sound like pebbles and rocks in your bag? Like, what is happening there? Like,
Yeah.
it's actual rocks,
Yeah.
math rocks.
Where math rocks. Yes, I
Yes,
like that.
as we call them.
Uh,
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I wanted to do, is create a unique set of designs for dice boxes. I have my graphic design background, and because web design for me had the possibility of having web design clients has been on the decline, I said, let me see if I could use my design skills for other things, and especially something very closely associated with what I love to do on the daily and the weekly.
mm-hmm.
It was kind of a no-brainer for me.
Makes sense to me.
So I've been working on that, coming up with these designs. I'm in talks now with distributors to be able to make them and mass produce them. Because what I want to do also by next year is to start a Kickstarter campaign, and hopefully I want to share these designs with the world. I want to get them out there. I grew up from the Bronx, so I wanted to incorporate some of the flavors that from the art scene in New York
Yep.
into some of my designs. I hadn't seen anyone really doing that before for dice boxes in general, so I said, hey, let me give it a try. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
I hope to have that ready to showcase soon.
Yeah, watch this space. We will bring you updates as Cher completes her goals of world domination and in math rocks containers.
Oh gosh, I don't know about world domination. I mean, it sounds exhausting. I'll be honest with you.
At least local, maybe, and just in her
ambition, maybe world domination. Nah, I'll leave that to others for that.
Well, I mean, you'll be successful. You'll be fine. Just all I'm noticing is during this conversation, it's just you put your mind to things and you end up accomplishing them or getting there or finding the right people who can help you, and that is very encouraging to see for people like me who don't feel so artistic or so talented, and just kind of I get to live vicariously through you in certain respects.
Are you kidding me right now? Like I said, all of the talent, when it comes to all of the tech talent that you have, my friend, like I am sure that you, like you said, you have forgotten more than I have ever learned, and then forgotten afterwards besides. I mean, trust me, and those are kind words. I really appreciate you, my friend.
Of course, there's nothing but love in this podcast.
For sure. Yes.
I wanted to go back to something you mentioned a little bit earlier, that about gatekeeping and kind of opportunities. I think that you have a very important perspective here, and I wanted to pick your brain about it. Obviously, as a white male, I see a lot of stuff that's targeted and marketed to me, especially as a gamer, and a lot of the, again, going back to playing role-playing games, kind of on my own, there's a lot of characters that are aimed at me, right? Either they're like these muscular buff dudes in armor, or maybe some sexy ladies, and it's something that,
or if I
or
may correct
yeah,
you,
well,
a
singular.
singular view of what sexy should be, or
That's true, and exactly, and I think you're getting at exactly where I'm going with this. It's been very uniform in what's been offered and the kind of people that I think video games especially are trying to appeal to, and that's not everybody, right? I mean, what you're going to be interested in and what's going to be uh, representative to you of your reality isn't going to be the same things for me. And so, how do I segue this?
well,
But what is your
here
view of that?
here's how I navigate through that. Um, just like I was saying earlier, that now more than ever is a great, fantastic time to be in gaming. And I say that because there is now this global awareness. Okay, it's not just people of color standing up and shouting, and asserting themselves. It's not just females or trans or gay folks standing up, shouting, and at the world, asserting themselves. Now there is a general umbrella of marginalized communities. Okay. When in actuality, now people are aware to the point where if you ignore these social issues, you are willfully ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no room in any type of vocabulary for what it is. If you choose to stay, you know, ignorant to the fact that people who don't look and sound and talk exactly like you or come exactly from where you come from
Mm-hmm.
belong in this space, then you're fooling yourself. You're not fooling anyone else at this point. You're being willfully ignorant. And on the pessimistic side, if not from an ethical standpoint, it is better business savvy,
Yeah.
certainly, for big name companies to recognize, oh shoot, okay, we need to make sure that these groups are now more included in our marketing, in our products, in that all of what we're in our company culture. This is the type of disruption that we needed. It's unfortunate that it had to get to this, to this point. But now more than ever, you see that there is not only this resurgence of gaming, but an assertion that no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, you belong at the table just as much as anyone else.
Yep.
And I love it. I love it. And anywhere that I find that there still lingers, the old school type of discrimination, I do my best to speak out against it. If there are tropes that are just hackneyed and just need to go, you will hear me speak up about it,
Yep. I've been
because
noticing.
you know better than most, since you know me so close.
Ugh.
I form my opinions and I'll form them fairly, don't get me wrong. There's always room for, conversational discourse without finger pointing, without, um, seeming like, I'm just trying to cause trouble. But you know what? Actually, I'll say this. I'm getting older, not younger, so I'm starting to care less about whether or not I cause trouble. Put it that way. But I just I have to be that voice at all times if I'm going to live a public life. I may not be the poster child of, ethical quality 100% of the time. I'm human.
Hmm.
But when I
We all are.
see injustices, I am compelled to speak out. And I'm compelled to help in any way that I can. I know I'm only one person, and sometimes that's an emotional thing that I have to deal with for myself.
Hmm.
I and there's folks like me that feel the same way, that we kind of take comfort. We have to take comfort in the knowledge that we're doing what we can as single people. And then, but when we group up, that energy, helps get propelled further,
Hmm.
than what we could each do individually. So that's why I like collaborations a lot. So that's how I navigate through that at the moment.
Well, you've certainly opened up my eyes, especially in the conversations that we've had, and I have myself been noticing, the elements that are changing. Certainly, you can certainly observe change in popular media, like commercials and TV and movies. There's different kind of stories coming out. There's kind of these all-encompassing stories coming out, and
Yes.
and while I'm pretty sure that all of these groups that have been marginalized, have always played video games, have always done the same activities. But if you're doing it in the privacy of your own home, nobody really knows, nobody really cares. Um, Now we've kind of democratized social media, and especially the streaming world. Now everybody can do their own thing, and if you are a person of color, if you are trans, if you are gay, queer, you can actually cater to an audience that is similar to you, and you can
Yes.
you can be seen, and you can see other people, and I think that can give you confidence in that you're doing the right thing and that you should be out there, because like you said, even if it's just one voice, many little voices will eventually join up into a roar. I mean,
Correct.
people publicly speaking and trying to have a public discourse and point out that maybe certain things have not been very equal, um, is important. It is part of the process, I think, at least in this country, where if we're not happy with something, if there's injustices, we have the right to take to the streets. And maybe we weren't able always to take it to the streets, but we now have this online street that we can get on. We can all get on Twitch
Correct.
and
Yes.
and show our face and show who we really are and what we're interested in, and we don't have to be ashamed. Hey, I like this, and that's okay. And hey, there's other people who like that. You're not supposed to like something or not like something just based on whether you're a boy or a girl or something in between.
Yep.
And yes, it is a little pessimistic to think about this stuff in terms of money, but I think it helps in a way because, like you said, not catering to certain parts of the audience, you are losing money. But if you do start catering to that audience, you're going to not just make money, but create more exposure and hopefully sell more things, and attract a whole new audience. And it's kind of a snowball effect, I think. So
At the very
at least,
least, become a an entity that people trust,
yes,
right? Because it all comes down to trust. And that's that, going back to streaming. That's why when I actually come up with my own Discord server, that's one of the first things, man, that I want to make sure that I have a great community of like-minded folks that want to come together. They can be like-minded in our love of games. We don't all have to agree.
yep,
We don't all have to be or look or be of the same race or spiritual background or any of that. The more flavor, the merrier in
yep.
my book, always.
It's like a
And, chalk it up to my New York upbringing, in the melting pot, whatever you want to call it. that's the kind of camaraderie that I've always loved and wanted to foster. And so that's one of the things that I really hope that I'm able to bring together and be that facilitator to bring together people from all over the world and just have fun playing games, you
Yeah.
know?
Everybody deserves the right to have fun to play games.
That's right.
I think that's, yeah, we can't take that away from people because, you know, for some people that's all there is. Maybe their situation is such that they need that escape, you know, or find a little bit of joy, or, you know, maybe that they have certain disadvantages, you know, be it physical
Mhm.
or mental or situational, that just allow them to play games and not do other things. So
Man, even within the gaming community, there's been like sub gatekeeping, I call it, because like
yeah,
if you if you play if you played like co-op games like SOCOM or the
yeah,
big
Call of
tick
Duty,
Halo, Call of
Battlefield,
Duty,
Halo, yeah,
right? If you play games like that, that's how people originally what you usually came to mind. If we go back in gaming history a little bit,
yep,
that's kind of how people first thought, oh, if you say you're a gamer then you play one of those games, well I don't play one of those.
yeah, oh,
But the way that I want to bring together my gaming community is you may not always play World of Warcraft, you may not always play Tomb Raider, you may not always play Assassin's Creed or Halo or any one of those, but if you play games, you are a gamer. Period.
yep,
That means you play tabletop RPG games, you play online digital RPG games, you play video games. You know, the age of the nerd has created this cross chatter now,
mm-hmm.
these cross dialects of different types of nerddom
There,
that do translate. I hang out with folks that are just as enthusiastic about the Star Wars movies as they are of Star Wars the Empire, the tabletop game, or Dungeons and Dragons in general, or you know what I mean. So there's a lot of cross pollination there
yes.
that's happening now too.
Yeah, we do have varied interests. I mean, you know, even I'm myself not very one dimensional. I mean, you know, I'll play a lot of different games. Maybe not all of them. Some of them by choice. I've decided not to start playing World of Warcraft simply because I wanted to go outside at some point. I was so afraid of getting sucked in and basically becoming one of those people that die at their keyboard because
Oh
they've
my
played for
goodness.
72 hours straight. And I just felt like that
Oh.
game had that quality that would just completely suck me in. I ended up playing other games that did that to me, but somehow I feel like I remained unscathed. But anyway, you know, we do have a lot of choices, and you're right, there's something in there for everyone. I'm still not personally sure if I want to count the mobile phone game people yet
Oh
into
yes,
that,
yes,
but hey,
yes. I count that too.
okay,
I do
all right, they're
absolutely.
in your
I mean, especially now because platforms like the Nintendo Switch, for example.
Mhm.
I mean, it's if you really think about it, the size of it is like as if you're looking at a tablet sized version of your cell phone, or actually some smartphones are that big.
Yeah,
If you've seen the size of a
yep,
Switch, some cell phones are that big
yeah,
with controllers attached on either side. I mean, it to me, the technology that we all are using across many different platforms are all starting to merge
yep.
together just a little bit as they miniaturize and as the tech grows better and better. I will not be surprised if Final Fantasy 27 okay, can be definitely played just on your Samsung phone. Okay,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Technically, you could if you tried.
I,
Depends on your data package, though. Be
yeah.
careful of that data packages.
That
Woo!
yeah. Yeah, but you know what? We don't have to worry about minutes anymore when it comes to data plans. We just not worry about data plans, and I feel like one day that's going to go away, and it's just going to be access for everybody.
Right.
Not to turn into a gadget review show all of a sudden, but the new Steam Deck from Valve was just announced, and it basically is just that. It's about the size of a Switch, and it allows you to play your Steam library. It runs Linux, but there's some compatibility magic happening, and basically that might be it. That may be the thing that will allow us to take our whole gaming library with us, because it'll play almost everything in the Steam library, and then you could have your Final Fantasy or whatever on the go.
They're starting to recognize.
And I
I'm
think
telling you.
I think that's awesome. And I do think that, Switch. I don't have a Switch, but I do like the idea of what Nintendo's doing. I think Nintendo has always done a really good job to appeal to, first of all, the younger audience by being kind of more family friendly, so that you don't always have to feel like, oh, the only thing to play is the violent stuff that's
Right.
that's not family friendly. But so they've always catered to that, and they've always made things easy, which um which which is great. and
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 conversely,
and
honestly, I can't wait to see when, whatever future iteration of Nintendo Switch and now this Stream Deck, now this Steam
Steam
Deck,
Deck, yeah.
the next iteration of Steam
Like,
Deck, that might start acting like how Xbox can let you watch movies on there
mm,
and use the internet on there, and there's certain backwards compatibility that I feel like they'll start working on next. And I feel like tablets just may go the way of the dodo and
it's
the laser disc. I
yeah,
I feel like
they seem to be. I mean, I had one and I kind of couldn't find a use for it. It wasn't powerful to play games yet. And and it wasn't really useful for work. But I think that the new generation of gadgets is going to really help us scratch that gaming itch on the go. We'll finally be able to do what they show on TV. Getting on a bus or a train and playing
lunch hour
at
at your
lunch
nine
hour.
to five,
Exactly, and this is, I think, what makes the casual games great. The mobile games and stuff like that. They are designed for kind of a quick gaming session. So after crunching numbers, you can just for during the day on your lunch, you can go slay some goblins or something. I don't know what
Correct.
kids slay these days. The kids still
Dragons. We
dragons.
slay
We slay
dragons.
dragons. I
Yes.
mean, do kids still play Minecraft? I don't know. Is that still popular?
Oh
Or are
yeah,
they outgrowing it?
that's still out there. It's
Well,
still out there.
so basically, I think we've come to the conclusion that we are moving in the right direction when it comes to inclusivity, and I think as more and more people get involved and get included and are able to take advantage of streaming platforms, and probably will have more streaming platforms in the future as well, because I think that is now becoming a more popular form of entertainment than just passive watching, right? We don't have to
Yes.
think of, when we watch TV, we think, okay, that's TV. Somebody's doing that. They're a professional. That's their job. I'm going to enjoy it. We watch somebody do a YouTube video and we start thinking, oh, well, anyone can post on YouTube, so I could shoot a video and
Exactly.
with various degrees of success. Take a look at some old videos on my channel. You know exactly what I mean. But then when you, on top of that, you lay the accessibility that streaming platforms have, like Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, and I'm sure we'll have more, because we've had ones that don't exist anymore, like Mixer, and we'll have new ones.
Right? Yeah. Oh,
That used
wow.
to be a big deal, right? Mixer was like
Sure
a thing.
did.
But but you know, that's the thing. There's no one's checking your card at the door. No one's making sure you're a boy or a girl, or you're this age or this ethnicity or this religious affiliation or this whatever. Like that's not there. That's not even a thing that matters. All that matters is, do you think you're interesting enough, and other people will find you interesting, and you know, can you provide content on semi-regular basis? And those are really just the two barriers to entry, and that's what makes it great, because you know, you can start seeing people that are just like you doing the things that you enjoy. And I think, you know, I think that's kind of the good bottom line here, right?
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better, friend.
You know, we all want to feel that we're represented, and 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 you know, and do the things we enjoy, right? Because so we don't always get to do the things we enjoy in life. You know, when you're sitting at that desk from your 9 to 5, or you're doing chores around the house, you're replacing the garage door opener. Believe me, done that. That's not an easy task. You know, we take the moments of that we do enjoy, the moments we spend playing video games, whether alone or with friends, or maybe when we watch YouTube videos and we watch replays of other people playing, and we're like, wow, that was a good shot. Oh, I didn't know that secret was there. It's like, whoa, this game looks beautiful. I think I'm gonna go spend money on it.
Oh, tell me about it. Like watch parties now?
Yeah, watch party.
Watch parties.
Like, that's a thing.
Like, watch parties, I'll tell you this. Watch parties give me the wonderful excuse to be able to comment during a movie, because you're commenting in chat, right? But you're not like physically like interrupting somebody hearing something, but you can actually catch somebody's like cute little quip about something that just happened on screen, or laugh out loud, or LOL, all the lulls,
Yeah.
right? And still have that kind of camaraderie. It's not the exact same as being physically in the theater, don't get me wrong. But many people will be happy that they don't hear me talking during the movie when you're going through a watch party online with me, as opposed to going in the theater, because I will emote during a movie. And being on the filmmaking side of it, honestly, that's the kind of, they want a reaction. You know, if you write something, you have the temerity to go ahead and write something that you hope people enjoy, learn from, have a takeaway from.
Mhm.
You hope that they get excited about it as they're watching it. Why not? But you know, that's a little difficult to do when you're in the theater. So I love watch parties. You know, it's a great way to, you know, like we've been saying, to bring together people from all over that you otherwise may not have been able to go out on that movie night with.
Exactly. So. And you've clearly never watched TV in my house, because the commentary never stops. So yeah, maybe watch parties are a really good thing to not disturb people. It's but you're right. Yeah, we do want to. Yeah, when we find something we like, or we're sad about something, or something really cool happens, it's hard to contain it. It's hard to just sit there, be all stoic, and be like, this is good. I shall keep it inside. You know,
especially if it's like something geeky, nerdy,
exactly,
that they've been hyping for like 2 years, and you finally get in the theater to finally see it. You know, either you love it and you're emoting like that, or you hate it because you're disappointed after all that hype. Yeah. Either way, you're gonna get vocal about it.
Okay? I have a story about that, and I keep promising to tell my story, so I'm actually going to tell this one. But
bonus content.
This is a story about me listening to an audiobook. So right there, I get points for being geeky. So I am currently working my way through Ready Player 2, which is a sequel to Ready Player 1.
Yes.
It's yes, I've seen the movie. I don't read books not right now. I listen to them, but I count that as reading them, so I kind of use that interchangeably. But I'm listening to the audiobook. I finished the first one. Now I'm doing the second one. It's being read by Will Wheaton, who I enjoy immensely as a voiceover artist. Go Wesley.
Yes.
Go
Wesley Crusher.
Go Wesley Crusher. But by the way, I believe that your mom on the show was called Dr. Crusher because I think every boy had a crush on her.
Gates McFadden. Shout out to Gates McFadden.
It was either Dr. Crusher or it was the counselor.
Or Marina Sirtis. Yes. Yes.
So anyway, so I'm listening to the book and I actually listen during my little walks. I take walks in the morning, trying to be all healthy and get all buff. So Will's reading it, right? And I don't want to spoil the story for anybody. Definitely recommend it. It's fun. You want to talk about emoting? That's me laughing while I'm walking, and other people that are walking are looking at me like, "Why is this guy laughing? What's wrong with him?" But he gets to a certain passage, and they're talking about one of the villains or one of the characters in the book. And it's an NPC character. They're a kind of an AI character, and the main protagonist of the story makes a reference to the Dixie Flatline, and I lost it. Because the Dixie Flatline is a reference to William Gibson's Neuromancer. It is
wow.
Hold on, this gets better. So they're a entity. They are an intelligence that was actually sucked out of somebody's brain. That intelligence only lives on the internet, or whatever the internet was called in Neuromancer.
Okay.
So and that's where I got Flatline BB from. It's the Dixie Flatline, the construct that lives online only. That was me when we were first all getting on the internet back in the 90s. I imagine myself just living on the internet and being just a brain that just lives only on the internet. Like, I'm going to be that entity, and then the Matrix came out and I'm just like,
right,
okay, that's awesome. We're living in a simulation. So this kind of works.
Johnny Mnemonic before that.
Mnemonic.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Gibson books, man.
I had such a visceral reaction to just that one line, only because that carries a lot of history for me, and it's also my moniker. It's my namesake. So when he read that, I was just like, yes, lady, yes. Yeah, you take your little dog and keep walking. I'm celebrating because I got a name drop in a book read by Will Wheaton.
I love that.
On my little walk.
Oh my goodness.
And
you should reach out to Will Wheaton and tell him about that story. I'm telling you, he'd probably love that.
Well, I did. So, Will, if you're listening to this podcast, I tagged you in a tweet. I haven't heard back. So, what's up?
I love it.
But yeah, so yes, like you said, having a reaction to something that's written or recorded or played or spoken is our human nature, and we will relate to things. And I know that people that do that stuff, as in writing, acting and stuff like that, want our reactions, but it's not always appropriate. So I think a watch party is actually a great idea. I haven't participated, I haven't done it, but I may have to drop by one of your watch parties.
Yeah, man, you got to drop by this week. I'm actually gonna be off for the next couple of days, but starting on Monday night, I'm gonna be picking up some episodes of Leverage Redemption.
Yes.
And a couple other things, season 1 of The Boys as well, because Amazon Prime has that great hookup through Twitch. So yeah, we're gonna get started on some Amazon Prime stuff. You should definitely swing on by.
Yeah, I haven't watched The Boys yet. I actually have watched have watched Leverage Redemption, and I actually started rewatching the old show, starting from the first episode when they were all babies in the early 2000s. Oh my gosh, they're all super young back then. But actually, you heard it here first, folks. There will actually be more Leverage Redemption. The episodes that have dropped so far are not all. There will be more. There will be a part 2 to the season 1. So I think we should get more episodes at some point.
Yeah, shout out to Dean Devlin and crew. Yes,
that's
I love all Dean Devlin stuff. I love it.
I did too, without even kind of really making that connection that they're all his shows. But I see the credits and I'm like, hey, I know that guy.
Yep. If I do, if and when, knock on wood,
not when,
if and when I get out to the West Coast, if I get cast in anything Dean Devlin, I know I've made it.
You would die.
I've made it. I would die happy. Yes.
I would definitely have to watch that. I would definitely watch that. And then maybe, I don't know, she might, Cher might not have time to do another podcast with us when she hits that level of stardom. But...
Oh, you can't get rid of me that easy, friends. You'll have me back.
Well, we definitely have enjoyed having you on the podcast today. Thank you.
It's been so fun.
I hope so. I'm glad to hear you've had fun. I'm hoping that people listening and watching had fun and you learned something. And if you have any questions for Cher, you can hit her up on Twitter at GamerShare. I'm going to be posting links to all her socials in the show notes, so definitely check those. And don't forget to check out Ladies of D&D, and don't forget to watch out for cool dice boxes, and that is your thing.
Yeah, I am also on Twitch as at That Gamer Share.
Yep.
And on Discord as at That Gamer Share. I'm on Twitter as at Gamer Share because somehow that Gamer Share already got taken, and I was
how dare they?
I was like, oh, why? And so hit me up, swing by my channel. Let's collaborate. Get at me.
yeah, people. She's out there. She's waiting for some good collabs and for some cool projects. So don't be a stranger. And again, we will have all of the deets in the show notes. So and also, if you guys want to talk to us at the podcast, we're at dsgopodcast@gmail.com. And I'm on Twitter at FlatlineBB. And there's a few other links that I will include in the show notes as well. Any comments, suggestions are welcome. If you guys want to be a guest on the show, drop a line. We don't discriminate. We'll talk to anybody. We're just getting started, so hopefully we'll pick up some steam as well and have some really cool guests. And again, I'd like to thank my guest Cher for her time and her smile and her laugh and all the cool stuff that she talked to us about. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.